Hey guys, welcome to Moment of Clarity. Just a quick video to say, Kamala Harris? Oh, for fuck's sake! Come on, man! I mean, I'm not shocked. What do you expect from this fucking dumpster fire of an empire? But you can still be disgusted even if you're not shocked. You know, it's kind of like if you had a dog that always was taking dumps on your couch. And then he took a dump on your couch. You wouldn't be shocked. You'd just be disgusted. You'd just be like, man, seriously? Kamala Harris is... What's wrong, Joe Biden? Was John McCain not available to run with you? Oh, yeah. Actually, John McCain was not available. That's a good point. Kamala Harris is just like the epitome of pro-corporate, pro-big bank, pro-prison industrial complex. She is, you are in the middle, I'm talking to you, Biden, because I know you watch all these videos. You've told me so. You are in the middle of the largest national uprising against racist policing in a generation, at least. And you're picking a top police officer, a top cop of California.
And I now stand before you as the top cop of the biggest state in the country.
Who spent her days there making sure as many people of color were imprisoned as possible. Imprisoning parents because their child was truant, didn't show up to school, so you put the parent in jail? Are you fucking kidding me? This is a woman who her office recommended prosecuting Steve Mnuchin for foreclosing on homes that he had no right to be foreclosing on, and she, no, let's not prosecute Steve Mnuchin, and then he ultimately donated to her campaign. This is, look, and it's not, for those of you out there who are like, yeah, I know Kamala Harris is terrible, but every time I post about it, people are like, you just don't like that a woman of color is going to be on the ticket. Bullshit. All right? There are plenty of great women of color. In fact, probably, I'd say almost all of the women of color are better than Kamala Harris. They could have been on this ticket. Okay? In fact, I'll let a woman of color speak about how awesome Kamala Harris is. Here's Tulsi Gabbard.
Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place. That impacts poor people in the worst kind of way. When you are in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who are on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that.
Well said, Tulsi. Yeah, that would have been a great idea, Joe Biden, to put Tulsi Gabbard in as your VP. Then that'd be a sign to the progressive side of the Democratic Party that you actually give a shit. The anti-war side, the anti-big prison industrial complex side, the movements that are actually changing the country. But no, despite the fact that Bernie Sanders actually was beating you in the primaries, destroying you as a matter of fact, until Obama ran around and got everyone, including Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, Klobuchar, to drop out and endorse you all at once. Yeah, maybe you wanted to put a sign to the Bernie Sanders side of the party that you actually give a shit. But no, these corporate Democrats don't give a shit. They just want to keep ramming it down everyone's throats that they are the most corporate, pro-war, pro-McCarthyism, pro-corporate destruction of the world party that has ever existed, that gone under the moniker Democrat. This is the nail in the coffin to just for the corporate Democrats to just fucking shove it in there. Just, we won. Yeah, you won because you have a lot of goddamn money, all right? That's what it comes down to, isn't it? And in fact, Lee Fang at The Intercept tweeted out that Kamala Harris won her first election the old-fashioned way. Big money, police endorsements, and fear-mongering about crime. She is a cop, all right? And not one of the good guys. She's one of the worst kind of cops. The kind that put people away for smoking a joint. And then when she's asked whether she smoked pot, she laughs about it. Ha 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 ha. I'm one of the ruling elite. I can smoke pot and not get arrested. Unlike you small people. In fact, let's see how Kamala Harris views protesters who march around demanding, give up time in their day to go out and demand that policing be restricted in this country, that we don't need fucking idiots with guns on every corner in this country, that we don't need 1,000 dead and millions locked up. What is it, 8 million people in this country that are either behind bars or at some point in the criminal justice system right now? We have 5% of the world's population and 25% of the world's prisoners. So Kamala Harris should be running around talking about how this is a crime against humanity. Why the fuck are so many people in prison? But instead, no. Here's what she thinks of people who protest against the prison industrial complex.
Okay, so I say with all love and warmth that part of the concern also for people who are progressive thinking and liberal-minded, or just progressive thinking in terms of just fix it, is that we all have these posters in our closet that is attached to a stick that we sometimes will card out when we're talking about criminal justice policy and those statistics that you first heard when we opened it up, incarceration.
Oh, God, this is disgusting.
And we run around with these signs, build more schools, less jails. Build more schools, less jails. And we walk around everywhere. Build more schools. We protest. Build more schools, less jails. Put money into education, not prisons. There's a fundamental problem with that approach, in my opinion. And it's this. I agree with that conceptually. But you have not addressed the reason I have 3 padlocks on my front door.
You're so funny, Kamala. God, I love you. No, she doesn't really address the reason she has 3 locks on her door, all right? That's called inequality. In systems where the inequality is not beyond that of ancient Rome, you don't have crime on this level. And look, I'm not saying that means, oh yeah, if you're poor, fucking go rob everybody, all right? This is not an endorsement of crime. But it's saying if you actually want to stop crime, then you look at the true cause of it. The true cause of it is inequality. And in fact, yeah, has crime gone down? Yeah, because you're just locking up fucking everybody, all right? If our imprisonment numbers keep increasing at the level they've been increasing, then by the year like 2050, we're all going to be in prison. And, at that point, who's going to watch all the bad TV and, wear blankets with sleeves while we sit home turning into some sort of gelatinous blob of sorts? Who? In fact, if you want to really see who Kamala Harris is, just look at who's excited about her as presidential candidate. Just look at who's thrilled, all right? Literally, there's already been articles about how thrilled Wall Street is with Kamala Harris as VP. CNN is jizzing out their mouths, and it's not pretty to watch, okay? MSNBC, fucking thrilled because you have a pro-corporate candidate as VP. Because you can say the whole Biden ticket now is just big banks and fucking corporate buddies. That's all it is. Biden's biggest contributor throughout all his years in government has been banks and credit companies. okay? That's who supports him the most. Wall Street is thrilled with this pick. CNN is thrilled with this pick. The neoliberal fucking goons that have brought us down a path of endless war and endless environmental destruction. They are thrilled at Kamala Harris as a VP, especially when Biden's about to keel over any minute. David Korn at MSNBC, Mr. Russia, 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 he says, this pick gives Biden vibrance, youth, and energy. Ah, yes, the vibrance, youth, and energy of bowing down to corporate America and doing whatever the fuck they want. CNN said that by picking a black woman to be on the ticket, Biden is the bridge between two history-making tickets, Obama and Kamala Harris. Oh, God, this is disgusting. Yes, Biden is the bridge that shows that no matter who the fuck you put in that office, the corporate establishment will always win. They will crush the progressive movements with just a crazy amount of money. They will crush the Bernie Sanders movements with a rigged system, and they will put in the people that have shown that they will do whatever Wall Street wants. CNN or MSNBC, one of them, also said this shows how much Joe Biden values black women in our country. Does it? Does it, though? How about you ask the black women that Kamala Harris put in prison because their kids weren't showing up to school enough? How about you ask the black women that were put into prison because Kamala Harris was set on prosecuting as many pot smokers as possible? How about you ask the black women who were not released out of prison because early release was recommended because the California prisons were so overcrowded that it was a fucking, like I said earlier, a crime against humanity. You have people packed in. It's a form of torture. And they were so overcrowded, they said, we got to release some people. And Kamala Harris's office came forward and said, no, we can't release people out of the California prisons because we need them for cheap labor. It will affect the California labor markets. How fucked up do you have to be to say that when they're saying, yeah, we really got to release some people? Non-violent, quote-unquote, criminals because their kids didn't show up to school or they were caught with a joint by racist cops who are only policing black neighborhoods. So anyway, ask those black women whether they feel Kamala Harris really represents them. Ask so many Black Lives Matter protesters, the real ones, the ones that are actually out there, not the ones who claim to be and then, they love Kamala Harris. Ask the real ones. Ask them whether this really shows they're respected. If Joe Biden actually respected women of color, he would have picked someone like Nina Turner, all right? There are plenty people of color who could have been wonderful VPs for Joe Biden. But no, he can't have that. He needs the one the corporate establishment adores. That's what it comes down to. The one with the big money donors. That's what it comes down to. But no, Joe Biden can't pick somebody like Tulsi Gabbard because the military doesn't like her anymore. Because she's a veteran who actually stands up for ending our military imperialism. And he can't pick someone like Nina Turner because Nina Turner believes that politicians should represent everybody, not just the wealthy.
Does practical mean that the 89 or so million people who are uninsured or underinsured in this country continue to suffer? Does being practical mean that we don't take steps in this country to deal with climate chaos and bring world leaders to bear? Does being practical mean that we continue to prop up a legal system that is unjust in every stretch of the imagination, that bears its weight down on black men and black women, and then by extension, if you are Hispanic or indigenous or poor? Does being practical mean that we don't say to the American people that you deserve better than what you are getting? That's not the kind of practicality we want. Does practical mean that that you hold fundraisers and wine caves with Swarovski crystals with billionaires who want to control this system, does practical mean we continue to go with the status quo while 500,000 people sleep on the streets at night? That's not practicality. People do want to defeat President Donald Trump, but they also want to know that they're going to have a fighter in the White House that's going to take it all the way, that's going to go ham on this system that has oppressed them. And so I reject, and so do the American people, the whole notion that you cannot say to a system that it must change and also push a dream and a vision that is bigger than what we have right now. Who wants somebody that's saying to the workaday people of this nation, I'm going to run for office, but you only going to get more of the same? That doesn't work.
Nina, that was terrible for your career. You can't say shit like that and get the top offices. No, you gotta do like Kamala Harris and prove that you're with Wall Street every step of the way. And then beyond all this, there's the final point, which I know you probably won't even get from most of your progressive commentators out there who may hate Kamala Harris. You probably won't get this on most of the independent outlets because it's not good for their business. It's not, the type of thing they really want to be saying. But the truth is, don't waste your time yelling about the VP pick. Okay, you can do like I just did. Devote 5 minutes to it and then just be fucking done with it. All right, the vice presidential pick barely matters. Barely matters, all right? It is largely meaningless, but our mainstream media knows that it's a great distraction, so they'll talk about it endlessly. Look, oh my God, look at who they picked for VP. Just like I did for the past 5 minutes. But the truth is that we have seen time and time again that this military-industrial complex, this corporate ownership of our society, the capturing of every level of our government, our justice system by the wealthy, all of that does not change. It rolls along unstopped, no matter who is in the presidency. Donald Trump is a catastrophe and an idiot, and he's pushing us closer to nuclear war, I will say that. However, not much has changed for what the Pentagon's plans were. They've pretty much gone about their business. Big oil, big gas, gone about their business. Big Wall Street, gone about their business. The largest entities in our world have not changed and do not change when you put an Obama in office or you get Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in there. They may get the wheels of the government to run a little more smoothly, They don't have to, nobody's got to worry about a rogue tweet coming out that's going to make things awkward for them. But really, the fact that this is 24/7 and you're going to be hearing about nothing but this, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, convention, nothing but that throughout the next 2-3 months, nothing. And it is 90% of it is a mass distraction, a gigantic distraction. So that you and I and so many others aren't actually doing the thing that is dangerous to this system, which is thinking beyond it, picturing ways to get to a more evolved place, a place where there is no gut-wrenching inequality, a place where everyone is housed and clothed and no one has to fear that their life is going to collapse at any minute, that they're going to get evicted and go bankrupt because they got cancer or something. That is what we should really be spending 90% of our time talking about. And instead, we're spending 90% of our time talking about who the VP pick is on the ticket. Anyway, I'm here with you. Let's keep fighting.